For those in recovery from substance abuse, staying busy is a good thing and can help keep one's mind on track. Thanks to help from a $400,000 state grant, a program in Pittsfield is expanding ways to help those in recovery fill their idle time. Connecting Point's Tony Dunne spoke with Sacchetti of ServiceNet and Program Director Joe Buyse about Living in Recovery, a peer-run program which helps those overcoming addiction use their idle time productively.
Back in 2014, ServiceNet also runs individual shelters and family shelters in Franklin, Hampshire, and Berkshire County. We saw a need for services that for people that were trying to be in recovery in a shelter, and we applied for a state grant for a recovery support program. We didn't receive it. About a year and a half ago, one of our clinicians that works with people that have substance use disorder, Faith Jones, had worked with a person who had died of his addiction, and the family wanted to make a significant donation. Dunne and Dave Darcy, and it was about $150,000, and Faith came down and talked with me and said, what can we do with this? They want this to go to, people that are trying to be in recovery. And so I didn't think twice. I said a recovery support program. So we used that money to get that started. We partnered with the George Crane Memorial Center in Pittsfield. They had a second floor that was available. We took over that space, and we began the Living in Recovery program in memory of Joseph Bott. That was Don and Dave's son. And from there, it took off. And so for the past year that we have been running, back in October of 2018, we opened that. And so the program's been running since then. And the family's donation has been just done some remarkable work for us and filled a huge gap in the Pittsfield area.
So the donation got you started, but Joe, you just received a grant from the state for $400,000. What's that going to allow you to do?
It's going to allow us to expand and enhance all the services that we've put on board already. We'll be able to hire staff. We'll be able to build stronger and better bridges with community services and agencies, do more outreach. We'll be able to do more instrumentally to support our community. So one of the things we're looking forward to is having a brand new van to provide transportation. Transportation is a big issue in our community, a lot of people on foot. And of course, in a rural community, just being a rural community is a form of isolation all itself. The possibilities are going to come from the community. The community is going to identify what it needs, ask for what it wants, and the great thing about recovery support centers is that each community addresses specifically what's important to them. So we're very different from a community, say, over in the Boston area. Transportation is not an issue over there, but for us it is, and so there's a lot of flexibility and diversity in the different centers.
Jay, the people who work in this program are currently in recovery themselves. Why is that, and how important is that to the program itself?
Well, that's a statewide model that they found. You want to build a community, and so it is easier to build that community with people that have experienced a successful recovery. And it also says, hey, I can get to that place and be in recovery, and so they can draw out of people what skills that they have. And the peer element of it, it's a peer-run program. ServiceNet is a host. We try not to inject ourselves into any of the decisions that are made about what happens at the recovery center. That's all developed by committees of people that are participating in the program. So that's what's important, to have a total recovery community that's in control of the space, in control of the activities.
What's it like to see people go through the program and find success?
Well, there's nothing better than seeing somebody go through that transformational process, right? So they come into recovery after usually tragic and awful circumstances of addiction, and oftentimes they come in, they're beaten, bruised, and tattered, and their lives are in shambles. And then over the course of time, they find support. They put the pieces one by one back together, and it's amazing to see somebody catch fire for recovery. You might have seen something similar in a faith-based organization, church. Somebody finally makes a commitment to their faith and they catch fire. It's the same thing in recovery. Once you grab onto the lifestyle and form an identity as a person in recovery, it's really motivating and it's limitless, really, in the possibilities.
So, Jay, do you help folks find employment while they're living in recovery?
Yep, we have a resource room. We have 3 computers in there that can direct you towards where the employment is. I've talked with Mass Hire in Pittsfield, the local, about a collaboration that their staff could come down and do, a meeting or a group with people, or that we can even go to the Mass Hire office and say, we're going to have a particular group this day, to point you towards employment. Because one of the issues with employment for people that usually have a quarry, and it's difficult to find a job where somebody's not saying, nope, sorry, we can't hire you. So, getting people to get over that barrier and to be able to get employment again and afford housing, which is a major issue for folks.
What are the plans and hopes for the future of the program?
Well, the plans are, to grow the program, enlarge the community of recovery for people in the Pittsfield area. We have some of the worst demographics in the state, some of the highest rates of overdoses. So it's the hope is that this creates a safe place for people to be with other people that are in recovery, and people can start to get back to a life that's, more normal. And, what they're looking for every day is to have a job. We do a number of things there. We have computers, so there's we can help people with employment. Somebody comes in and says, hey, listen, I don't know how to get my kids back. We can find that attorney that can help explain that. So these are the types of things that we hope grow so people can, get over the barriers and the triggers that will send them back into the world of addiction. But they come into the program and they say, hey, I can help you with that. I've been through it. This is how I got my kids back and reestablished myself. Because that's the loss that people have that keeps them returning to a life of using. And so that to me would be, something that the program ultimate goal is to close those gaps for people and eliminate those barriers.